to I talk to a lot of people who hire my students. Not all those interactions are positive, but I take them as opportunities to improve curriculum, to try to help you to avoid those, mistakes, I should say. Underperformance. That's a good word. Sure. It's opportunity to improve. And so I've got some stuff here, but basically what you need to be doing is really thinking about how your work, how your documentation is going to benefit your boss and your employer. And if you don't understand how it does, ask for help, ask for clarification. You should be meeting with your boss regularly, but don't be on them to be telling you exactly what to do every day. You should get a little direction, and then you should be able to take what they say and build from it, and always be learning, basically. You're going to want to align the goals with your capstone internship. So you've got the employer you're working for. This is in an internship. And you've got the capstone objectives, everything you need to do. Integrate them. Make them one and the same. You've already read all this stuff. Impress your boss and good things will happen. I can't impress that upon you enough. If you make a mistake, apologize, but improve. Don't make the same mistake again. Ask for clarification. Go above and beyond. That's what you're attempting to do. Yeah. For your course binder, I've got 6 sections labeled here. It's organizing what we're doing every week. So I do want you to be creating and revising short and long-term goals. I am doing that continually, and it comes down to where I'm developing to-do lists, whether it's weekly or daily, things I'm going to try to get done to try to reach the bigger goals. And I've been knocking them off like crazy over the last several months, kind of crazy, keeping me busy. Track your progress. Make sure you are, learning from what's working and what's not working, and you're adjusting to it. Demonstrate that. Document and demonstrate. You should be doing your reflective journal. I think a lot of you did a really good job this first week. I'm not sure if I'm mixing it up with my 43 class, but they were doing really well. So it looks like you guys are starting to catch on. And I'm going to show you some examples of the work I'm doing right now, too, in a little bit. At the end of your capstone internship, you write a lifelong learning statement. But we're going to try it in here, too. We're going to end the semester with one-on-one, what I'd like to call an exit interview. I'll review your binder, and then we'll kind of talk about your future. Yeah. So I think it's a good transition into the next phase of your career. And I consider this part of your career. I mean, because when you graduate, it's not like anything drastically, ends. It's the beginning of, if anything, it's the transition and more responsibility, but you get paid for it. So that's nice. Make sure you're always taking lecture notes. So right now, if you're not taking notes, stop, rewind, do it again. And make sure you're always looking at the weekly assignments. One person didn't do it. I think, would this be a good time to bring in this week's assignment? So every week I have an agenda. And so I've got the topics we'll cover. I'll introduce who we have. And I'll try to guide you a little bit on what's going on. And then I've got the assignment. It's also posted. All this language right here is posted also in the folder that you're going to be uploading it to. And I like what some of you have done, where you're clearly indicating this is what you asked for. Here it is. I like that. Versus some of you jumbled it all together. This first week, I was a little bit more flexible, but I want this to be a concise, easy to grade assignment. So you've got 7 things to do. 1, summarize the videos you watch. You've got this one. You've got the one I referred to just a moment ago, which is me reviewing some case studies, or a case study and talking about my work. And then we've got the guest speakers talking about the business case for safety. And then there is the video that was posted on LinkedIn from Shirley Parsons on how to build. It was a resume building workshop for EHS. Summarize those. Then make sure you are meeting with Frank or someone within that office. I assigned that last week, so everybody hopefully has something set up. Get into Handshake. Become an expert. Force yourself to learn it. Play around with it. Report what you can find, especially those. Try to find those companies that are going to be at the fair on the 15th. I'll give you a hint. Dr. Bookman knows. So if you can't find it, that's the source. That's who I'd go to. Use the tips from the Canvas page to improve your LinkedIn profile, because I've got a module for it. So start working on that. I want to start seeing some improvements there. I'm not going to have time this week to improve it. I am neck deep in trying to get some chapters finished and in for publishing. One's due to like Wednesday, the other is due Friday. So I got to get that done tomorrow. All right, what else? Look at the grading rubric and grade the two. Score and comment on the 2 case studies I have posted. I was going to do like a full demonstration, but I want to see where you are. I really think the best way to learn is just to try it and then receive feedback and then learn how to do it. But so it's like what came naturally versus what would be expected. And that's a way to draw together and understand your own approach to things, really. Because some people just haphazardly or unsupportedly, that's not a word, they say, oh, I'm just I learn better this way. Well, you got to challenge all forms of learning to really understand it. And actually, more recent research has shown that it doesn't matter the methodology. It's the motivation, the comfort level of the learner that really dictates how well they do. It doesn't really matter the modality. Next is there was I'll show you in a second here. I would like you to consider doing the tour of Space Saver. I think you have to RSVP by either the end of this week or by next Monday, so please get on that. I have it posted on the Canvas page, and I'll show you that in just a moment. It's free, and it's hosted by the Jefferson County Area Safety Network, and they're a great bunch of people. It'd be good if you could connect with all of them. A lot of them are big supporters of Whitewater. And then do your personal reflection. And I've given some stuff here. So let's get this out of the way. Get back to this. I'm going to quickly go through the rest of it so I can show you what I just talked about. Okay, so this is what I use for grading the portfolio. I was going to bring in some more information, but obviously it didn't work. Document your work. I'm going to show you what I do. Make sure you're journaling. I'll show you what I do. When it comes to case studies, it's really important that you establish what is the topic? Why is it important for the reader? It may be obvious to you when you're in your capstone internship that, oh, my boss told me to do this, but really dig deep, really understand why. So, what you want to establish is this is how things are right now. And this aspect of it could cause somebody to get hurt, or could cause machine to fail, or if left unchecked, will give you something you don't want. I'm generalizing here, of course. Define what that is. And then come up with the methods you're going to use to evaluate it. But first, as you're justifying, refer to, studies or internal data that shows why it's important and how it could affect the company from a cost perspective, from a lost time perspective, whatever it is. Try to quantify it the best you can. Work with your supervisor, work with maintenance, work with engineers, operations, whatever you need. Okay? Make sure the methods are well laid out to the point where somebody could replicate it. Provide the tools and techniques you use to do observations and data collection. Then actually do the analysis and present the results. And then that should lead to, here is what I'm recommending. And you should provide some form of value-based assessment or cost-benefit analysis to justify your recommendations. There should be multiple. Rarely is it ever just a single recommendation. It's usually a range of them, and they usually range in cost and potential savings. And then provide a reference section where you've got all your stuff. So this is just purely cost-benefit analysis. It's very simple. Estimate what the losses could be, given the current situation. What could be saved then if you if they were to accept your recommended change, and then what the investment might be, and then you do the return on investment calculation. Write your case study so that another student could understand it. Think of it that way. How am I writing it? Make it simple enough that a student could pick it up and go, oh, I understand why they did it. Provide pictures and other resources so they can visualize it. A lot of students fall short in that area, that you pick it up and read it, and they're not thinking about us. They're only thinking about them, and they've got a lot of information in their head that hasn't been shared. We don't know what it looks like or what it could conceivably, possibly look like in the real world, and you need to bring that in. Some companies don't let you use photos or videos from their work environment, and so search Google Images and find something similar, and then just let the reader know This isn't what actually it was, but this is a good representation. Be concise, state your intention, follow strict problem-solving methodologies. Of course, you must have an executive summary. It should be under 2 pages. This is sometimes the executive summary is all the top people read, so they should read it and they should be able to make a decision. Then you write the report for anybody else who would want to replicate it and understand. Teach them what you did, found, and recommend. That's a good line. Okay, that's my PowerPoint. All right, let's get to the week 2. So what you're watching now is going to be right here. Here is the Fort Atkinson opportunity. I believe it's right here. Zoom this a little bit. So it's on Thursday, February 9th, 9 a.m. in Fort Atkinson. Meet and greet, donuts and coffee. Woo! And then a tour. Take a little over an hour. Be good networking. It's free. You just have to RSVP. You should be, safety glasses, hearing protection will be provided, but you have to bring your own steel-toed shoes. You should have those if you're going to go into safety. I keep them in my car whenever I need them. RSVP no later than Monday, February 6th by emailing Eric Brown, who's with M3 Insurance. So if you can make it, good opportunity for you to begin that process. I'd like you to go to these as much as possible. I can't force you. This is really good for your development. And of course, I'll reward you from scoring, things like that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Here's 2 parts of the video. One is about 40 minutes. Oh, start at the 40-minute, go to an hour. So what is that? Just like 25 minutes. And then the final thing is about 50 minutes. Okay. So 25, 50. I believe the Shirley Parsons is an hour, and this will probably wrap up in 10 minutes. So it's only 25 minutes. So those are your lectures. Here's the agenda we had looked at. Here's where you upload it. Here's a description of what I try to put something together so you understand what is expected for a case study, but this needs to be updated, I think, because it wasn't helping anybody. I think it's good, but maybe we can redo that. Here's the updated grading rubric. So I did this for you, upgraded it. Use this rubric to score these 2 examples. Here's a workshop example of a machine guarding and a second one. Score them both. So in a page, you don't actually have to, you could copy and paste or take a picture of the rubric, but give me a score for each of the 4 sections, justify why you gave it that score, provide some comments, and it'll be a good way to compare and contrast these 2. And I'll talk about that in next week's video to kind of help you all understand. So that's that. Make sure you're going to LinkedIn. What do I have got going on here? Okay, so I'd open this just for you all. What have I got here? Sure, I'll accept. I always come on here and there's anywhere from like 5 to 15 notifications. It's going super slow because I'm running a recording and things like that. Yeah, it's going really slow. Make sure you're getting on here though, and checking things out. So I've got a lot of people messaging me. Usually it's about connecting or talking. I know tomorrow my schedule is like full. I'm not going to look at that. Okay, so first thing I'd like to do. Oh, so I just found out that a book that I had worked on last year was just recently published, the Safety Professionals Handbook, 3rd edition. I co-wrote a chapter on training and solo wrote a chapter on record keeping. So this just came out. I get no royalties from this, so don't consider this a, what do you call it, when people support something? Promote? I don't know. So, I like to go on here. And so Nicole, she supervised an intern of mine in the spring or summer. I can't remember. Looks like they're posting a job. She actually reached out to me personally to do this. So what I do is I like and I repost. Sometimes I put comments in, sometimes I don't. This one I'm just going to repost. And I still owe a handful of people to post things for them too. So I just scroll through this several times a day looking at things. Well, this is cool. This is Mike Beam. He's a professor at East Carolina, a friend of mine. We've done work together through ASSP. We talk to each other once in a while. I don't know. This you'll be able to find local trainings and stuff like this. I'll be asking Jeffrey Dalto to guest speak in my 483 class. Oh, look at, there's a whitewater thing, so I'll like it. That's all you have to do. The more you like, the more you share, the more you grow your network, the more information you get. Oh, this is cool. So yeah, OSHA record keeping. I actually verified that all my sites got their 300 days posted today. I verified it all. I also verified and uploaded our information to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I'm going to effort to upload our 300-day data. Probably not this week, but next week, because I have to create a new login because the old guide never gave us one. Shirley Parsons, so this is the video you're going to be watching. It's from this group. They're always posting jobs, and I usually share those. So, as you can see, I go on LinkedIn, and I'm immediately informed of stuff. Next thing I wanted to show you is, okay, we went over let me just quickly go over the rubric that you're going to use. It is brand new. I gave it to you in PDF. PDF. So 4 parts. Executive summary, super important. It's 30% of the score. Can a manager read your executive summary, have a basic understanding what you did, but most importantly, be able to understand your recommendations with cost-benefit analysis. Really important. The technical report should be educational so that a student or somebody could pick it up, read it, see what you did, and understand it. The next is, did the writer, author, intern clearly define and justify the topic? I think that's one of the most important things. Sometimes they gloss over it because they didn't take their due diligence to understand it. So, did they clearly justify what the topic is, define it? Because it's difficult to solve a problem if you don't really understand what it is. Next, did they make recommendations that are justified with data or demonstrate the value? So if they used OSHA pays, they cannot get full points, drop it down to a 12 immediately. And I tried not to put in the in-between for the topic and for the overall look and writing of the report. And those are both 15 points. Simplified this. I just changed this. We'll see how it goes. You're all going to be my guinea pigs. Guinea pigs is in like an experiment. Put any sort of lab animal in there. I don't mean anything by that. All right, let's see. So I want to share how I take notes for my job. And this is meant to kind of help you understand the level. So this was my 5th day on the job. So I'm writing down when I get there, who I'm meeting with, because I have to learn names, what time I'm meeting with people to kind of space out the day so it's easier to kind of recall things. I'm bringing in pictures and writing down names of things I do so I can recollect what I'm doing. I'm giving where things are located when I find things because I'm going to need them later. And then I have a reflection, and I'm trying to think of bigger picture type stuff, big things that I want to try. I'm laying out my goals overall, and these are going to change as I learn, and then my objectives to try to reach those goals, and then some documents that I'm going to be building and referring to. So that was my 5th day. I was starting to think big picture, laying things out. Of course, there's orientation. We have to go through things, so you don't really count the first 2 days. So really, this was my 3rd day where I was actually on my own, being able to get out and do stuff. Yeah, that was good. All right, what did I do? What's the next one that I brought in here? That was January 5th. This is the 13th, so it's 1 week later, but I don't think I was full working every day because I was trying to prepare for the semester too. Got in a little bit earlier. I enjoy getting in earlier. Brain works better then. I'm starting to list out the meetings I have for that day so I understand. I can prep for things. 7, I went out and started walking around and talking to people. I try to get out in the morning before my operations meetings. I got 2 of them to listen in on. I try to walk around and talk to people. It's a good time to kind of find out what's going on, what people are thinking. You see this right here? I actually improved this in another photo. I don't know if I included it though. Took a picture of it today when I was walking around. Found out that a question I had asked a few days earlier came to where nobody was actually doing maintenance on the batteries. And so they found out they were bone dry. And so they were filling with water. And that gave me motivation to update this and make this compliant. There's a glue room that gives off a lot of vapors, a lot of smells throughout the place. The ventilation system that was designed by a contractor isn't working. And so I'm starting to figure out what we could do to create a better capture system and isolate it so that it doesn't get out into the plant, because people smell it and they don't feel good. And now at 9:30, I'm already, going off and trying to do other things. I did have a worker ask me about these types of elbow supports. She's older, she's super sweet and awesome, and everybody loves her. And so, yeah, I dropped everything to try and make her happy. I was going to ask about how to order this stuff, but I found out they had some samples in the plant, so I was able to fit one to her, and that was pretty cool. Yep, and then I went and helped the engineers make some decisions about whether they need guarding on this one thing or not. Turns out if it was on there, it puts the workers at a greater risk of musculoskeletal disorder, and it doesn't really reduce the chance of something, ricocheting off. And in fact, without it and put in the piece in properly versus they weren't sure if they were because it was blocked by sight before, it shouldn't ever do that. So made that, and then I left. Next, the third. Now, this isn't every day. I'm trying to take like chunks from weeks. So this is 1 week after that. So 5th day, approximately the 10th day, and then approximately the 15th day. But I know there were some days I took off. So this is maybe the 14th day. All right, what do I got here? So I came in and I got to meet with the Safety-Kleen people, so they were going to haul some stuff away. My first day, I noticed some things that shouldn't have been there, and they weren't being labeled properly. And then I was going to present. So I know that this got moved, because I think this got moved to 10 o'clock. This got moved to Monday. I should have made note of that. I'm starting to list out daily things, what I need to be thinking about and working on. Let's see. Took a video of a hydraulic press. We're going to do that as a case study probably next week. It's a very simple one. What did I do here? Oh, there's an eye wash station that's overpressurized. The water pressure is too high. So we either need to, we need to take it out of service until they can adjust that. Mike is the head of the maintenance techs, and Mac is the person who does like building type management. So I'm working with them. Both great guys. These people are the thing. Everybody at this place is like super nice. It's crazy. Oh, okay. Oh, so the cutting tools, which I'm going to show you in a moment, arrived. What day was this? This was the 20th. Okay, so I think they did the ordering on the 16th. Took a while. After I wrote my initial request, they arrived. So, yeah, I'm asking the questions right here. Need to create an audit sheet to track and where they're placed and the worker perception. Do they work? Are they better than the current utility knives? If not, why? Started working on the 300 A's, but we had to figure out the sites and verify some other things. We're trying to figure out the login for things, and that's going forever. I'm trying to find out who manages this internal safety incident reporting system, because I need to make it so it works on a phone. Because if every worker, right now only managers can like go on to, an internet browser, bring it up and enter stuff in. But if every worker could pull out their phone and take a picture of something that concerns them, or an issue they're seeing, or just that they're not feeling well, fill it out quick on their phone and submit it, I could increase, I think, observations and concerns and reports by tenfold. The more information I have, the better I can prioritize and help support my recommendations to management for investment. So I'm really working hard on that, but I'm not making a lot of leeway. But my boss knows how concerned I am and how it needs to get done. So she now, who's the plant manager, the head of operations, so she's now helping me. And I could probably get some other people on my side too now. What else so I wasn't feeling well in one area. And I think it was due to carbon monoxide. And so I took apart and rebuilt a 4-gas meter and got it kind of to work, but it's not calibrated. And so I need to figure that out. But I haven't felt that way again. And it looks like they're running all the makeup air systems now all the time versus not just some of the time. I got to figure that out. Oh boy, that person I just accepted sent me a message. Now I gotta delete her. Whoops. I was showing off and it came back to bite me. So then I met with Safety-Kleen, and when they showed me some things that I didn't know, where some hazardous material was, and they took out the stuff that we needed to be hauled away. So finally, Only took 4 weeks or whatever. Walked around with the CO detector, but again, it wasn't accurate. Looked at see what I could do for carbon monoxide detectors and was not happy with what I found. I'm not ready to ask for that kind of investment just yet. Let's see. We ordered air nozzles. They did finally get in recently, and they haven't put them in yet. I walked around this morning, didn't see it. So we actually that day walked around and started giving out the packets of safe cutting tools to see if they would work. I got the receipt from the Safety Clean. It was about $2,100. It's expensive to haul away hazardous materials. So if you could find a way to conserve and reduce, it's good. Save the company a lot of money. And I was able to get access to the Maintenance Tech work order system. And I actually downloaded the whole data set for 2020 up till now, today, 10,000 calls in 9 months. You do the math. They work 3 shifts, 5 days a week, and some weekends. They were on overtime this weekend. But I'm going to try and figure out what processes, what equipment have the most number of calls to try to get an idea of where I should start with my lockout tagout assessment. Because they have to lock out and tag out when they get called in. So, was that all of them? I think it was. I could have brought in today's. Today's was good too. What I'd like to show you next, this is the last thing we're going to cover. I'm going to show you a report that I had to write today because during the morning meetings, the engineers said, hey, what's the result of the safe cutting tool study? And I said, I will write my report today. So here's my report. Maybe I'll provide it to you. I just submitted this a few, 6 hours ago. So I haven't heard from anybody. We'll talk about it on Wednesday when I go in. So here are the 6 cutting tools that I asked them to use. 3 of them were concealed blade. 3 of them were self-retracting or spring-loaded. So the executive summary, kind of get the background. It was ordered by my boss, basically on my, there's an injury mid-December. I started on the 27th. So it was requested that we do this. On the 16th, we made the order. We only spent about $190 on this little study, so not much. I explained where we put things, what the initial response was from workers, did an analysis, and what I came to find is that these aren't going to work, and that I'm going to show you that what we're going to do is we're going to do training and have work reminders and safety signage, and make sure that the current requirement for gloves and arm covers, cut resistant, meet the proper assignment for cut resistance. That's what I'm recommending. So we don't have to buy anything really. We have everything in house. We'll just add it on. So then I did a breakdown of background stuff. OSHA cuts and lacerations represent 30% of all occupational injuries. Almost 70% of those are involved the hand and fingers. And I cited this source, but it's because this source cited OSHA. And I found a bunch of them. I decided, let's just use this one. I also found another source in which the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation reported a majority of claims involving cuts and lacerations as a result of these 4 things. And actually, I'm building up the basis for my recommendations. On the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, it gave a kind of a break percent of work injuries and illnesses resulting in days away from work or job transfer by nature of injury. And I think it cuts and lacerations, and they're here. And then what cut, puncture, and scrape injuries cost companies in Wisconsin. This is the most recent data, 2020. And you can see, usually laceration that's indemnity averages around $5,600. Then I provided our Madison plant. This is 5 years worth of work comp data. Cut, puncture, scrape was number 1 in a frequency and number 1 in total paid. The average is about $11,000, so twice as much as the average Wisconsin amount because we have 2 really expensive laceration claims. The median claim is about $2,000. The average is $11,000. The median's $2,000 because they range from about $200 to about $93,000. Only 3 of the 18 claims were greater than 5,000. Over 80% of the laceration claims in the status set were due to accidentally contacting a sharp edge or a jagged point during normal work operations. So what I'm establishing here is that the cutting tool laceration, which was expensive, was an outlier. It wasn't a normal thing, but it was a rush to judgment. But that's okay. I didn't say that here. I'm just trying to support. So then in our safety reporting system, here's a cut, puncture, scrape. They're high in frequency, very low in severity. That's what I'm saying here. So note, the injury and incident data analysis occurred after the safe cutting tool study was requested. So the objectives were to see if these things work. And I kind of explained how I went about identifying what we were going to do and some of the specifics about them. So here are the 6 items, and then here are the responses from workers and what they thought about them. So the highest was this device here, which is 3.7, which is not great. We have a 1.3 right here. So workers, although they said, yeah, they kind of work, we don't want to use them. All right. So workers, although workers comment some of these devices worked either decently or in some tasks, they greatly preferred the current utility knives that they're using. So we need to assess to make sure that the PPE currently uses has the adequate ratings for cut level. And so it's an ANSI standard, but it refers to an ASTM standard. So I need to contact whoever is supplying these. I think it's MSC, and see what the ratings are and make sure that they match the use of a utility knife, which is kind of a sharp blade. So my final recommendations here. So I need to verify the cut resistance of both the arm covers and the gloves, cut resistance rating. I need to come up with a very short safety training. Don't ever point it at yourself. Close the blade when it's not in use. Be aware what you're doing and cut away from your body. That's basically it. And then I'd like to use these utility knife safety instructions. This is from J.J. Keller, so I'd be stealing if I took it, but I could build something close to it, similar to what we have. And I could also bring in, pictures of within the workplace so they understand it. So that's what I'm recommending. I'm not asking for a huge investment of some special tool. I'm saying that we just need to use what we have in a safe way and make sure that it meets OSHA standards. And this whole report, somebody could replicate it if they wanted to. Here's the survey instrument that I used. It's very, very simple. People filled it out and used it. If OSHA comes in and says, do you have a program for lacerations? It's your number one most frequent injury. We'd say, I got this. I did a study, and this is how we're going to approach it. And also, if we have the proper gloves and arm guards, that should reduce the occurrence of all those other cut, puncture, scrape injuries that I had documented, because obviously they weren't wearing what they had, and they either cut themselves on the product or the materials that go into the product, or just in doing their normal job. There was really nothing freaky or unique. Wow, I didn't think I was going to go this long. I hope this was helpful, sharing some of the work I'm doing. This is the first time where I had to kind of just kick together a case study report. And I did this today, a couple hours. So it could be better. It probably wouldn't score great on the rubric that I provided, but I'm not creating it as an intern. I'm creating it as a safety director, letting operations know what we need to do with this topic so we can put it to bed and I can move on to the next thing. I got several other projects I need to write up. The ventilation study, compressed air design system for this one area. It's really, really not good. Proper body covering and treatment for people who have contact dermatitis when they get exposed to fiberglass. These are 3 reports I need to write right away, but Wednesday I need to put together my bi-weekly report because I'm not going to be there on Thursday, so my boss can report out to say what I'm doing. But she's awesome, and she's been very supportive of the work I'm doing. It's a great opportunity. I'm going to shut up now, so reach out to me if you have any questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I will be reaching out to all of you to set up times to meet with you this week. And we need to start thinking about applying for scholarships. It's something I want everybody to do. It's going to be part of next week's assignment. And then I'm bringing in someone who is really well known, not nationally, but internationally for speaking. He's awesome. He's going to talk about the American Society of Safety Professionals, Board of Certified Safety Professionals, consulting, and then getting to scholarships. So we're very lucky. I'm going to record it on Friday, so I'm going to shut up.